5 years ago, you could buy a brand new car for under $25,000 and not feel crazy. But now, the average new car in America is pushing $50,000. Monthly payments are at record highs. Millions of people are underwater on their loans, and automakers are telling us that's just how the market works. But here's the real question. Are car companies pricing people out on purpose? And if they are, what happens next? Let's talk about it. Now, today we're breaking down why car prices have exploded 30% in 5 years, why affordable cars have basically disappeared, and why Chrysler is fighting for survival, why killing the HEMI backfired and what the real EV future looks like. This isn't just about cars. This is about debt, strategy, culture, and power. Now, average U.S. car price is now near $50,000. That's roughly a 30% increase in 5 years. Fewer than 10 models remain under $25,000. Models under $20,000 are nearly extinct. Record numbers of buyers are underwater. And that's not inflation alone. That's a strategy, I guess. Automakers stop focusing on cheap sedans and high-volume basic cars. Instead, they push SUVs, pickups, high-margin trims, and luxury packages. Why? Because they make more profit per vehicle. Instead of selling 10 cheap cars, they'd rather sell 5 expensive ones. Now, this is what happens when shareholders are greater than volume and margins are greater than accessibility. The industry didn't lose the ability to build cheaper cars. They just chose not to. But here's where it gets deeper. Even if American automakers wanted to lower prices, they're facing a problem most people don't see. China. Chinese automakers have roughly 30% cost advantage. Government support, faster development cycles, and vertical integration. They build cars faster. They test virtually. They design around cost efficiency from day one. Meanwhile, U.S. automakers are slower, more bureaucratic, and more legacy driven. Tariffs can slow Chinese imports, but they don't fix the cost gap. To compete long term, U.S. automakers need radical restructuring, software-first manufacturing, EV supply chain localization, and faster production cycles, not minor tweaks, a complete mindset shift. Now, this isn't about patriotism. It's about efficiency. If someone can build a comparable vehicle 30% cheaper, the math eventually wins. Now, let's talk about a brand that used to represent American automotive pride, Chrysler, because their story tells you exactly what happens when strategy gets confused. Chrysler used to stand for affordable luxury, bold innovation, American engineering confidence, but now they only sell minivans. That's it. They're part of Stellantis, which owns about 14 brands. And people have been asking, is Chrysler even going to survive? I don't see it. Now, why did Chrysler fall? Now, everybody knows they got some quality reputation issues, identity crisis, rebadged vehicles, and no consistent luxury direction. When a brand loses identity, the customers leave quietly. Now, Stellantis says Chrysler is not dead. They're developing. Refresh Pacifica in 2026, a larger crossover, maybe an EV hybrid, and a production version of the Halcyon concept. They're trying to revive affordable innovation, but revival takes more than announcements. It takes cultural relevance. And speaking of cultural relevance, let's talk about the mistake that cost Ram and Dodge serious loyalty, the HEMI. Now, Ram discontinued the HEMI V8, replaced it with the more efficient twin-turbo inline-six. Now, on paper, better engine, more efficient, and more advanced. But in reality, sales dropped, fans were furious, brand loyalty cracked. So what did they do? They brought the HEMI back. Truck buyers don't just buy specs. They buy sound, heritage, identity, and pride. You cannot spreadsheet away emotion. That's a mistake. Everybody knows, man, when you got that HEMI on the side of your car, that's like a staple, right? It's like a status symbol. So what was the lesson? Green tech can't replace brand DNA overnight. You transition, you don't erase. What they should have been doing anyway is just, rehashing the HEMI in a certain way where it's just more robust or a different version, but never getting rid of it. Now, let's zoom out, because the entire industry is walking a tightrope right now. EV adoption will happen, but it won't be forced. Consumers need better range, lower price, reliable infrastructure, emotional appeal. Past attempts to rush adoption, too aggressive. Market-driven transition is probably a little smarter. Now, automakers must balance profitable gas vehicles, hybrid growth, and EV investment, battery R&D. You can't kill the present to fund the future. That's how companies collapse. Now, the winners in the next 10 years will be the brands that offer you a choice, respect your loyalty, control the cost, innovate without alienating. That's the blueprint. Cars used to represent freedom, getting on the open road, doing your thing, you know what I'm saying? Now they represent strategy, debt, and corporate positioning. If you understand where the auto industry is headed, you understand where middle-class finances are headed too.